you geeks! A few weeks back, The Legend of Korra celebrated its 10th anniversary, which makes me feel so very old.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
And the call went up for content creators to contemplate one legendary scene to commemorate the event. Since I've been critical of Korra in the past, it took me some time to think of something nice to say. But I came up with one. For me, the scene I recall most about Korra is when Avatar 1 stole fire from the lion turtle. The Beginnings episodes of Season 2 were a bold experiment by the show. Now I will focus on how this episode tried to achieve something great, and how it achieved that in a small but profound way. Beginnings Part 1 provided a sudden tonal change. It was an art statement and time to ponder that East meets West fusion at the heart of Avatar world building, which is a recipe I still look for in fantasy. Beginnings Part 1 was truly legendary. A change of pace. The Legend of Korra shocked audiences in achieving something truly remarkable. A second season.
Now it's back with this year's least expected big event.
The writers truly went all out to capitalize this new season, moving away from the localized plot in Republic City and moved it towards the global spanning epic from The Last Airbender, while also trying to keep the more mature, subtle political intrigue that The Legend of Korra brought, including the two powerful water tribe brothers who hate each other and throw the entire world into conflict trope. But this time, it's Korra's own father.
So you were supposed to be chief, then he became chief. No wonder you guys don't like each other.
The first half of the second season is a fast-paced, action-packed romp, a plot that could only have been driven by a hormonal imbalanced teenager. We go from wanting to learn about the spirits.
Now Korra...
Unalaq has proven he's the only one who knows what I need to learn. I have to go with him.
To her starting a civil war.
Well, I did, but it's more complicated than you're making it seem.
In just a few episodes. The episodes clearly depict Korra's hot-headed and erratic behavior.
You betrayed me and my family!
The mid-season strikes when Korra has thoroughly made everything terrible. Though, to be fair, she had plenty of help, with her uncle manipulating her and her own team doing their own things. In the episode before Beginnings, The Sting, Mako and Asami go outside the law to catch criminals, and it turns out the whole thing was a scheme by Varric for some unfathomable reason, probably having something to do with money. Then the Water Tribe attacks and gives Korra some time to reflect on who she is, because it seems she has forgotten.
Who's Avatar Korra?
So while she's out looking for herself, she also needs to discover what it means to be the Avatar by speaking to her past lives. Her first one in particular.
Go back. Return to the beginning.
And then we meet Juan. His story begins with the sense of high-stakes whimsy.
Nobody steals from the Chu brothers!
Really? Because I just did.
Which Aang had previously carried during The Last Airbender. Juan's story is quite simple. He's a poor guy with a heart of gold.
Juan, you should eat. They need it more than I do.
So when he tries to steal from the rich to give to the poor, things don't work out.
Juan?
Even when you have the power, you're afraid to use it.
Resulting in him getting banished from the city into the dangerous spirit wilds.
Never again may you return to this city. But I will allow you to keep the power of the element.
Despite early struggles with the spirits come to see Juan's heart of gold and grants him their respect.
I saw you save the cat deer from those hunters. I've never seen such an act of selflessness from a human before.
So they allow him to live with them and learn to live in the wild until he is able to go out on his own and find the next lion turtle. On his way there, he accidentally severs the balance that held the world in peace for the past 10,000 years.
By freeing Vatu, I led chaos into the world?
Whoopsie! And then we go to episode 2, where things get more complicated. Beginnings Part 1, however, still stands out as a dramatic attempt to change the pace and direction of the season. Stepping back from petty gang squabbles and teenage angst, it took time to tell one story that fully developed one character, instead of splitting our time and attention on several plots which were all going full throttle. Beginnings Part 1 also introduced us to the spirits, which is what Book 2 Spirits had promised fans all along. And it looked amazing. The art. Let's just take a moment to acknowledge how gosh darn beautiful this episode is. The backdrops are painted like ancient Chinese or Japanese scroll work. I recall when this episode came out how the production team touted that it took visual cues from Studio Ghibli when designing the spirits, because there was nothing anime fangirls loved more 10 years ago than Spirited Away. Just look at the spirits lining up for the bathhouse. It's so exotic and strange and cool. I just love looking at these episodes. Their hyper-stylization, the intentional lack of realism makes the story, though relatable, truly legendary. The legend. Beginning style was intentionally set up as an Asian epic. Starting with the obvious, the word avatar comes from Hinduism, meaning a manifestation of a deity or released soul in bodily form on Earth. Beginnings tells how a human came to manifest the powers of Rava in their world. The Last Airbender had been quite vague on what exactly the avatar was manifesting. Back in Korra, we see humans living on the backs of lion turtles, just as is said in Hindu lore. The most valiant turtle, and Sissa, endowed with one of Vishnu's powers, went to support the earth, and haughtily the turtle said, "When I can easily hold all the 3 regions of the world on my back, how can I feel the weight of this Mandara mountain?" Although Hinduism does not have a canon like the Western religions cultivate, I did try to find an authentic Hindu source, and the best I could find had a printing error over this line. So if anyone knows how to find a better source, let me know down in the comments. Korra does not stop at India. Studio Ghibli's stylings make the Shinto influence on the spiritual realm quite clear. And of course, Rava and Vatu's intentional homage to the yin-yang makes Juan somewhat comparable to Pangu, the man between the opposites who finds balance.
And in return, I will help you restore balance to the world.
This homage to Pangu is, well, the topic of my other video. Here, I'm focusing on the spark of cultural fusion done right in Korra, a new blending that evokes an ancient primordial myth. Back when the show came out, I listened to Republic City Dispatch, where one of the commentators brought up how Juan stole fire from the lion turtle reminded her of Prometheus, who stole fire from the Greek gods. 10 years ago, I was impressed that Korra had retold Prometheus with Asian flair and left it at that.
You can't steal from the lion turtle? Really? Because I just did.
I had no notion that there was an Asian fire theft myth. Since then, I learned the idea that humanity needing to steal fire from the gods is not unique to any given culture.
When the nights got cold, who stole you fire from down below?
For this video, I looked into fire theft myths and found Mataris Ven. Sorry for butchering that. Mataris Ven is often touted as the Indian Prometheus. His lore comes from the Rig Veda. As soon as born, Agni manifested to Maravishtam in the highest atmosphere, and his radiance, kindled by vigorous effort, spread throughout heaven and earth. The oral tradition surrounding these lines interprets that Maravishtam is said to have brought the fire, Agni. Nickelodeon's Avatar universe has long recognized Agni to mean fire.
An Agni Kai at sunset.
Mataris Ven is also affiliated with the wind, an aspect of Vayu, the god of the wind, who rides a deer and now looks very familiar. The wind, Maravisham, brought you, Agni, from heaven. Now, I find it very fitting that Juan learned firebending from a dancing, flying dragon. A dragon who rides the winds and wields fire seems to be the perfect fusion of East and Western thought. This comparison also sets up Juan going to the airbenders next as they control the wind.
People, and they have some kind of wind power.
Though the simple explanation is that it's the Avatar's world order of the elements.
Fire. Air.
It should be noted that Maravishtam is also noted as Agni's servant, so I'm not quite clear if originally Maravishtam was a thief or just a messenger. Diving deeper into this lore, I learned that the name Prometheus may come from the Vedic roots pramath, meaning to steal, so Prometheus would mean thief. So it seems that the Vedic story traveled west, and Maravishtam, the fire bringer, became the fire stealer. Darn those rumor mills! Legend of Korra brings the story back east while keeping the thief innovation present. I love these kinds of simple stories with deep roots that span cultures and ages. This is the heart of Legends for me, and Beginnings Part 1 was the moment I felt that Legend of Korra truly lived up to its name. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would like to see more. Your patronage is greatly appreciated.